Ready? Start. Learned counsel for the appellant, referring to the definition of the term tenure holder as contained in section 3 subsection 17 of the Sealing Act and the definition of holding contained in section 3 subsection 9 of the said act, contends that the appellant would attain the status of a tenure holder within the meaning of section 3 subsection 17 of the Sealing Act, and having acquired the status of independent tenure holder is entitled for independent assessment of sealing area, and the land falling in his tenure cannot be clubbed with holding in the hands of respondent number 2, the government lessee. Stop para. It was further submitted that the twofold prohibitory conditions contained in clause 9 of the lease deed, namely, the lessee agrees in the event of his transferring the lease land otherwise than by inheritance, would either pay to the Secretary of State 25% of the price released by him, or relinquish to the Secretary of State 1/4 of the area proposed to be transferred are not applicable to sublease made by the government lessee when subletting the land in ordinary course of agriculture as mentioned in clause 9 itself. Full stop para. Referring to the sublease, it is contended that sublease was for agricultural purposes and for the cause of growing more food campaign, and the High Court has patently erred in holding the sublease as void on the ground of non-compliance of conditions enumerated in the first part of clause 9 of the lease deed, ignoring the latter part postulating an exemption from the twin conditions for sublease made for agriculture purposes. Stop para. In reply, learned counsel for the respondent submitted that the case of the appellant having acquired the rights of independent tenure holder is based entirely on the definitions of tenure holder and holding under section 3 subsection 17 and 3 subsection 9 of the Sealing Act without taking into consideration the provisions of section 5 of the Sealing Act, which is the charging section. Stop. It is further submitted that definitions being relied upon by the counsel for the appellant cannot be reviewed in isolation and are to be read in consonance with section 5 of the Sealing Act, which is the charging section. Stop para. He further submitted that section 5 of the Sealing Act postulates that for determination of sealing area, there exists a presumption contained in explanation that all land held by a tenure holder would also include land ostensibly held in the name of any other person. Stop para. He points out that explanation clearly states that unless the contrary is proved to the satisfaction of the prescribed authority, it is presumed that the first mentioned person continues to hold the land ostensibly in the name of any other person. Stop. Thus, burden of proof to disprove this presumption lies on the appellants to establish the claim that they are independent tenure holders. Stop. The appellants have failed to discharge the said burden, and thus, their claim has rightly been negated. Stop para. Learned counsel for the respondent number 2 further submitted that clause 9 of the lease deed, since specifically excludes subleases made in the ordinary course of agriculture, which clearly implies that independent tenure rights cannot be created by sublease made in ordinary course of agriculture by the government lessee. Stop. Admittedly, since the appellants are sublessee under a sublease made for agricultural purposes and therefore by implication he is excluded from acquiring any rights as independent tenure holder. Stop para. Thus, a cogent reading of clause 5 of the sublease and clause 9 of the government lease clearly stipulates that acquisition of rights, if any, as independent tenure holder can only be by following the stipulations as contained in clause 5 of the sublessee and clause 9 of the government lease, which, in the present case, admittedly has not been followed. Stop para. An analysis of the terms and conditions of grant makes it clear that any transfer of land by the government lessee was subject to fulfillment of the conditions of the government lease and sublease, and non-compliance of the conditions and transfer made without fulfilling the conditions would be void. Stop para. Though, the conditions of grant allowed sublease of the land in the ordinary course of agriculture, but contrary to the terms of grant, the sublessee can claim no independent tenancy right so as to frustrate the terms and tenure of the grants, as the sublease executed or ordinary course of agriculture cannot be treated as transfer for want of compliance of the conditions enumerated in the clause itself. Stop. Thus, the appellants in their capacity as sublessee shall not acquire the status of an independent tenure holder. Stop para. Admittedly, the lease in favor of respondent number 2 was made under the Government Grants Act 1895. Stop. Respondent number 2 was put in possession of the land under the terms and conditions of the government grant, which did not permit any transfer of land by him without fulfilling the conditions prescribed in clause 9. Stop para. The entries in revenue records and recognition of any tenancy rights of the lessee and or sublessee as hereditary tenant, sirdars or bhumidhars under the UP Tenancy Act can have no adverse legal effect on the government grant, which has an overriding effect under the Government Grants Act. Stop. No estoppel can operate against the overriding status so as to bind the sealing authorities to accept the tenancy rights of the lessee sublessee as indefeasible in application of sealing act to the lands in question. Stop para. From the aforesaid discussions, it is clear that the provisions of sealing act would be applicable in case of grantee of government under a lease agreement. Stop. The grantee, being a lessee from the government, has no right to transfer the land without fulfilling the conditions stipulated in clause 9 of lease deed. Stop. The terms of the lease deed, though provide for sublessee for agricultural purposes, but sublessees can claim no independent rights as a tenure holder. Stop para. Thus, the appellant, being a sublessee, continues to be an ostensible holder of land, and the government grantee, the respondent number 2 to be the real brother, and the sealing authorities as well as the High Court have rightly dismissed the claim of the appellant.